Xing Ziyi, in other words, there was a Yam in Tenguxian County, Shandong Province, who formed a dead party with the Balian Church and got some evil magic. After Mr. Zhu's murder, Mr. Yang escaped with a fluke and wandered around with a demon. With its pastoral and pavilions, it's a wealthy family. He went to a gentleman's house on the Surabaya waterfront, performing psychedelic magic as a play, to get women to sneak in. Yang saw this gentleman's beautiful girl, and when he came back from the play, he wanted to take her in by magic. Yang's wife, Zhu Shi, also had a charm, so she dressed up as a fairy, gave her another woodbird, told her how to start it, and shoved her down the stairs. At that point, Chu felt as light as a leaf, drifting through the sky in clouds. It wasn't long before I got to a place. The cloud stopped moving, and Chu knew he had arrived where he should have been. On this night, the moon was bright, clear, and it looked down very clearly. Zhu takes out a woodbird and throws it, and the woodbird pushes its legs out, straight to the girl's house. The girl saw the colored bird flying in and called the maid to catch it, but the woodbird had already flown out of the curtain. The girl chases it. The woodbird falls to the ground and makes a whirl of its wings, and then comes closer, and the woodbird plunges under the girl's skirt. And in between, the birds fly on their backs, straight up into the clouds. The maid cried, "People in the lower circles should not be afraid. I am Chang of the Moon Palace," Zhu said in a cloud. "She's the 9th daughter of the queen's mother, and she's been relegated to the world by accident. The queen and mother miss her every day, and bring her back to a gathering for the time being." So Chu and the girl were flying with their clothes in hand. It happened to be in the Surabaya area that one person set off a flying firecracker, which slanted and hit the bird's leg. And the bird fell in remembrance as soon as it was frightened. And the Zhu Shi fell as he was pulled, which happened to be at a beautiful home. The show was called Xing Ziyi, and she was extremely poor and had a very straight temperament. He refused to accept a neighbor whose woman ran to his house at night. The woman left in anger, uttering bad words about Xing Ziyi in front of her husband, slandering her for provoking and seducing her. Her husband, already a slutty bum, came to the door in the morning and in the evening to humiliate Miss Xing. Miss Xing sold her property and rented a house in another village. When someone who would meet Gu, who was good at judging the luck and life number of a person, Xing Ziyi would personally visit him. Looking at Xing Ziyi, someone laughed and said, "You are a millionth rich man. Why are you meeting people in tattered clothes? Do you think I'm blind?" Xing Ziyi joked that he was talking nonsense. Someone looked at him carefully and said, "Yes. It was a depressed family, but it wasn't too far from home." Miss Xing thinks he's bullshit again. Gu added, "Not only do you have to get rich suddenly, but you also have to get a beautiful person." Miss Xing never believed what she said would be true. Someone pushes him out and says, "Go ahead, ask for your thanks after the test." On this night, Xing Ziyi sat alone under the moonlight. And suddenly, 2 women descended from the sky and looked at them. They were all absolutely beautiful. Amazingly, the 2 of them were treated as bogeymen, and they were pressed and asked to not talk at first. After Xing Ziyi tried to summon all the villagers, Zhu was afraid and told him the truth. She told him not to give out. Both of them were willing to follow him for life. Thinking that the woman in the adult family could not be treated like the woman in the bogeyman, Miss Xing sent someone to tell her home. Her parents have been crying and terrified since their daughter's ascent to the sky. Letters that were suddenly rewarded, surprised and delighted, were out of the picture. "I'll send the Mercedes to greet you overnight." After thanking Miss Xing with 100 gold coins, she returned home with her daughter. Miss Xing got a beautiful daughter-in-law, and was feeling great relief when her family was empty and she got money. And then he went and thanked Gu. Someone looked at him again and said, "It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Good luck has begun." How can 100 gold be worth mentioning? So Gu Renmin is determined not to accept the thank you. Before that, The gentleman came home and asked the superior officer to arrest Yang. Yang ran away, didn't know where he was going, raided his home, and sent a document to hunt down Zhu. Zhu was terrified, crying silently while pulling Xing's clothes. Miss, Xing could not think of any other way to bribe the person who wrote the article, and she rented a car and took Mr. Zhu to the gentleman's house to beg for her release. The gentleman felt that Xing Ziyi was very gracious, so he tried his best to find a way for them to save Zhu's life. Keeping their couple in the villa, the mood of joy was like a friendly relationship. The gentleman's daughter was employed by the Liu family as a child. The Liu family was a prominent official's house. I heard that the girl had stayed at Xing Ziyi's house for 2 nights and thought it was a disgrace, so I returned the marriage certificate and abandoned the marriage relationship with the girl. The gentleman wanted to marry his daughter and other families, and the girl told her father and mother that she was going to marry Xing Ziyi. When Xing Ziyi heard this, she was very happy. Even she was happy, and she was willing to be the concubine. Gentleman, worried that Xing Ziyi was homeless, just in time for Yang's house to be treated as an official's property, so he bought it for Xing. The two of them came back, took out their old money, simply set up furniture and adopted a few maids, and within 10 days, the money was gone. I just hope the girl comes. I'm sure she'll pay for it. My sinful ex-husband, Yang, once buried his daughter's money downstairs. Only I knew where it was buried, Zhu told Xing one evening. I looked at the place, and the bricks and stones were the same, and maybe what was buried in the ground wasn't damaged. The two of them went to dig the cellar together, and they got $1,000. Therefore, believing in the magic of someone's magic, Xing Ziyi returned the favor. The girl later married and was extremely well dressed, and within a few years, Miss Xing was known as the richest man in a county. After the annihilation of the White Lotus Church, and after someone from the other party, Yang did not die, but grew rich. I almost doubt that the colossal Skynet can be both gross and omissive. I don't know. The Lord left him here to become a Xing Ziyi. How else could Miss Xing have rushed to build her palazzo and amass huge sums of money, even if bad luck turned to good luck? When Xing Ziyi refused to favor a woman, the gods returned the favor. Oh, God said nothing, and his heart was clear.
Alright, this story has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.